Alright, so for my part of the assignment, I have decided to do a little tutorial, and I'm just going to do a quick, maybe probably more like 3 to 4 minute video on how to do a square knot or a buckaroo knot on a wild rag. Now, the first thing you're going to want to get is your wild rag, preferably a 38, I think, whatever, 42-inch wild rag, something a little higher. You can do it with the smaller ones. It's just a little bit easier if you can get you some more length on your ends, which we will go over a little bit more as we go through the process. But let's get into the kind of the first step and getting started with this thing. We're going to take our square wild rag and we're going to make it into one big triangle. So we're going to grab one corner, a piece of hand. We're just going to hold it out in front of us, and it'll eventually fall into a triangle. Now we're going to take either corner we have in our hand. We're going to cross it over behind the back of our head, just like so. And each corner is going to go back over the opposing shoulder. So my right corner would have gone over my left shoulder. My left corner would have gone over my right shoulder. Now we're going to have a roughly two equally lengthed tails right here. I don't have to be perfect, but as long as you have two tails, you're following along just fine. And what we're going to do is, I've heard this referred to as going over the pistol or something about fishing. But we're going to make our pistol to make it simpler, and we're going to go over the barrel of our gun, which is the barrel of our pistol, which is our two fingers. We're going to go over it technically twice, just for teaching purposes. This is going to be your first loop, and this bit with your tail is going to be your second loop. Now, with your tail you still have hanging on its own, what we are going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to go under the second one, or the tail, and then we are going to go over the first one, or the first loop, and it's going to look somewhat like this. We're going to start to see the square knot start to form. We're going to start to see one side of the corner, or side of the square rather, there, and a corner start to form right here. Now, with the reason people like to say you're using a pistol is because right now what we're going to do is called going over the back of the hammer right here. But if that doesn't make sense to you, or if you just want to make it a little simpler, you're just going to go right back over that first loop. You're going to loop back behind the first loop between your hand and your chest, and you're going to come right back out of the opposing shoulder. Now you're going to come back around, and this time, instead of going under the first loop, or the tail here, we're going to go above it. We're going to go over the top of it as such. Give me 1 second. And then we're going to go under the first loop. And then we're really going to start to see that squares start to form. Now see, we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. And now what we can do is we can take our barrel out from here, put a hand on either corner, and we can kind of start to cinch down on it just a bit. As much as you'd really like, the more you cinch down, the smaller the square is going to be. The less you cinch down, the larger the square is going to be. And sometimes that tends to be a little bit more comfortable just because it's a little bit looser. But now, after doing all of that, what you have is your scarf with a nice, as I've said, called the square knot. It's called the square knot not only because it makes a square, but because you got nice symmetrical-ish corners making that square. Now, this is something that you don't see everyday use in. This is something you want to do if you're feeling fancy, or maybe you're going on a date, if you're going to maybe a funeral, maybe a wedding, maybe a nice convention, maybe something like that, where you really want to be impressing people. Maybe you want to dress up a little bit more. This is something where you're going to want to throw out this square knot, or this buckaroo knot, or however you want to call it. But that's just a quick tutorial on how to make yourself a little bit more presentable if you do choose to wear a scarf or a rag, or at a public event.